What is dyslexia? Debunking myths and misconceptions.
Welcome back to the Dyslexia as a Dyslexic, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're diving into an important topic. What exactly is dyslexia? There are so many misconceptions and myths surrounding it, so let's break them down and get to the facts. 1. What is dyslexia? First things first, let's define dyslexia. Dyslexia is a neurological condition that affects how people process language. Now, before anyone says, does that mean dyslexic people aren't smart? Let me stop you right there. It's not about intelligence. People with dyslexia are just as smart as anyone else. It's simply about how our brains interpret and work with written and spoken language. I remember when I was younger, staring at a page of text was like looking at one of those 3D magic eye pictures. Everyone else seemed to get it instantly, and I was just waiting for the hidden image to pop out. It wasn't until later that I realized I was processing it differently, and that's okay. Dyslexia affects things like reading, spelling, and writing, but it doesn't look the same for everyone. It's often a lifelong condition, but with the right strategies and support, people with dyslexia can thrive in school, work, and life. 2. Common myths about dyslexia. Now, let's address some of the most common myths about dyslexia because, unfortunately, there's still a lot of misunderstanding out there. Myth number 1. People with dyslexia can't read. This is one of the biggest misconceptions out there. Dyslexia doesn't mean you can't read. It means you may need to approach reading differently, and it may take more time. With the right strategies, many people with dyslexia become proficient readers. Trust me, I know, it used to take me ages to read a single chapter, but once I found the right tools, it felt like someone handed me a cheat code. Myth number 2. Dyslexia is just about reversing letters. A lot of people think dyslexia is only about mixing up letters, like confusing B and D or P and Q. If that were the case, maybe I could have landed a gig writing secret codes for spies, but it's much more complex than that. Dyslexia is about how the brain processes language as a whole, not just letters. Myth number 3. Dyslexia only affects children. This one is especially frustrating. Dyslexia is a lifelong condition, not something you just grow out of, like a pair of shoes. Many adults continue to live with dyslexia and face challenges with reading and writing. The good news is, there are strategies and tools to manage it at any age. And hey, in adulthood, we finally get to make the rules about how we read. Whether it's using audiobooks, speech-to-text software, or other tools, it's all about finding what works best for you. So now that we've debunked a few myths, let's take a look at some facts about dyslexia. Fact number 1. Dyslexia affects about 1 in 10 people. That means in any classroom or workplace, it's likely that someone has dyslexia. Fact number 2. Dyslexia is genetic, so it often runs in families. If you or someone you know has dyslexia, there's a good chance it could affect other family members too. Fact number 3. Dyslexia affects people differently. Some struggle mostly with reading, others with spelling or writing, and some with all three. So why is it important to understand dyslexia and debunk these myths? Well, because once we break down the misconceptions, we can break down the stigma too. Growing up, I often felt like I had to work twice as hard just to keep up. I know I'm not alone in that. But once we understand what dyslexia truly is, we can focus on strengths and potential rather than challenges. Dyslexic people have creative, problem-solving brains that can bring a fresh perspective. And when we get the right support, we can thrive, not despite dyslexia, but sometimes even because of it. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you or someone you know experienced any of these myths? Or do you have any questions about dyslexia? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation and help each other grow. And of course, if you're finding this helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on our future videos. Remember, you're not alone in this. Let's thrive together. I'll see you in the next video.